So I have a pretty good feeling that if I were to ask the entire For Honor community collectively as a whole, if there was one hero you hated most of all upon release, I'm not talking about now, I mean upon release, I'm willing to bet everyone would probably say Pirate, or at least most of them would say Pirate. And I know there are some people today who would probably be like, nah, I find Shinobi more annoying, or Shaolin more annoying, or Nusha, or all these others. I'm sure there would be plenty of people who would say otherwise, and I'm sure I'll get some comments to this video saying, no, upon release I hated this character way more. But I cannot think of a single hero who, when released, there was more outrage over than Pirate. And there were several reasons. The gender lock aspect, the fact that Pirate couldn't be male, the fact that they were Chinese and not your stereotypical Caribbean pirate like Jack Sparrow or Blackbeard, the fact that she wasn't a member of the Wulin but a brand new Outlander, which people thought was stealing attention away from the original factions, the fact that she brought a gun to the game, which a lot of people said, that doesn't fit into the world of For Honor, the fact that her design, many people said, didn't look good, some people saying she was too androgynous, looking too masculine, there were some who said they couldn't understand what she said and that she screamed a lot, there were a lot of people who said that even if they were okay with all that, she was way too OP when she released. Pirate was not well received upon release, and probably one of the first characters who I think back on and think, man, I can't believe how much hate this character got, which was weird to me because I didn't hate Pirate upon release. In fact, I may have been one of the few people who came out and said, nah, I think she's pretty cool. Now, granted, at the time I did that, I was not super into the mechanics of the game. I wasn't all that familiar with how the game worked mechanically, and I couldn't see just how OP she was, although I had a bit of an idea. But the reality was that when I looked at Pirate, I was very impressed. So what I want to do here is I want to talk about why I liked Pirate so much and how I feel about her now. So to start with, I should iterate that I understand why some people were upset. I know that when people thought, oh, we're getting a pirate hero, their first thought was, oh, it's going to be Jack Sparrow or it's going to be Blackbeard. That was the big one. Everyone was saying Blackbeard. And so I was kind of like, really? Okay, look, here's the thing. As a person from South Carolina, a state that Blackbeard terrorized, just ask about the whole Charleston incident, I know a lot about Blackbeard. We're taught about him a lot in schools, and I went to the towns where he was most prominent. I've seen his old house, for Pete's sake. So all I can say is he's a little overrated. I thought that the character that they really took inspiration from, the woman from history that they drew inspiration from to create the pirate hero, Chang'e, was a much more inspiring and unique idea, which I thought fit the world of For Honor very well. It made sense that she used to be tied to the Wulin because Chang'e was a Chinese pirate empress, considered one of the most, if not the most successful pirate of all time, and a woman who, quite frankly, is one of the few pirates in history who not only was successful, but retired and died at an old age due to natural causes. She did not get killed or hanged or brought up on charges. She received a pardon and retired with all of her money and all of her fame and her success at an old age. She lived the dream and died well. That's kind of what every pirate wants to aspire to, and most don't, which I think is a testament to how awesome she is. So I was kind of impressed. I thought, that's a stroke of genius, and I thought that was a really, really cool idea. I can sympathize with people who wanted their male Caribbean pirate, wet dream to take place, but for me, I'm kind of like, I get it, I like it, and I think it works within the world of For Honor for what we're getting. Now, for the people who said that they didn't like the gun, I'll admit the gun kind of annoyed me too, but the real thing about the gun that I find annoying is not the fact that she has it, the fact that she's not even using it right, She, uses it as a semi-automatic weapon rather than a one-shot flintlock that has to be reloaded. Now, of course, I know that mechanically it would be very difficult to make her pistol work as a one-shot and have to reload. How would you do that and make it balanced? I don't know. So, quite frankly, I'm not going to really get on the developers for that because I wouldn't know how to make it work, but I'm sure there are lots of people in the comments who will let me know, so if you want to let me know, feel free. My point is, it didn't bother me all that much. The real thing that bothered me about Pirate was, in fact, the androgynous nature, because I did feel like if you're going to make her the super awesome female pirate queen, go the full mile with it. That would be my response. If you're going to go there, go the full mile. Don't kind of tiptoe around it. Just jump on it, Let's get this really sexy, beautiful Chinese pirate queen out there. You could give her some really cool ideas, even some flamboyant outfits, make her look like she crawled right out of Pirates of the Caribbean. You can totally do that. I have no problem with that. But that was my biggest problem. As time went on and Pirate got to feel more real to me and I got to try her moveset, I did start to recognize, okay, maybe she's a little too strong. She is a little too hard to deal with. So I did start to understand where people were standing. Now, as we're looking at the current game and she has been edited and fixed and redesigned so many times, I think my position on Pirate has relatively stayed the same with a minor discrepancy. I think the area that bothers me about Pirate in terms of the game isn't even having to do with her inspiration or having to do with her design. It more has to do with her place in the world of For Honor. She exists almost in this space beyond what I feel is relevant in the current lore. And what I mean by that is this. When you look at all the other Outlanders and how they came to be in the lore, they all kind of meet within the same goal, you know? You have Horkos, or someone else rather, who goes over to their lands, causes some crap, comes back to our land, the Heathmore land, and that culture follows them. You have that with Bolthorn antagonizing the Medjai who come over, you have that with Ravier antagonizing the Aphira who then come over, and then you have that with Vela antagonizing the Ocelot who then came over. With the Pirates, they just kind of showed up, like, almost out of nowhere. They just kind of said, hey, we're here too. You know, it felt like they just came out of nowhere. Now, obviously, you could make the argument, well, you know, they're traveling warriors. You know, they wander the seas. Eventually, they would end up in Heathmore. Right, but when, why, and how? What brought them here now? Why would they want to come at that point? And why did they, and do they not side with anyone? Because the Lord's a little iffy on that point. Some say that Boyen, the leader of the pirates, sided with Astria because they had a past together. But at the same time, doesn't that go against the idea that the pirates only follow the money? You know, like, couldn't Griffin fork out some money to basically buy her over? Because the trailer made it sound like the pirates were all about that. So I think my biggest problem with Pirate is they don't make sense in connection to the rest of the world. Now, honestly, you could have this whole idea of, like, you know, they're mercenaries. They go where the money is. You know, they go where they're needed. But at the same time, they don't feel like they have any stake in the world. I mean, what are they after? I think that would be my big question. What are they after? With the Knights, Samurai, Viking, and Wulin, you could argue all of them are there to claim Heathmore and dominate it for themselves so that they have dominion over it and can prosper. With the Outlanders, you could argue the majority of them are either for a similar goal, or they're to get revenge on someone, or they're there to steal back something, or they're there because they just like the violence and the chaos. Either way, you know how they fit in. With the Pirates, I don't know why they haven't just effed off already. They came in, they caused some crap, they tried to steal the artifacts, now F off, please. What are you still doing here? Because that's the thing about pirates, you know, they don't typically unless it's One Piece, they don't typically settle down, they don't typically set up their own conclave. When they do, it doesn't last long. Look into Nassau to hear more what I mean. But my point being, I think that's my biggest problem with Pirate. I don't hate her in terms of what she's inspired by. I don't hate her in terms of her design. I don't hate her in terms of her gameplay, although I will admit that can be a little annoying. I do feel like her dodge cancellations can drive me crazy. But that aside, I think what bothers me most about Pirate is just the fact that every time I think about Pirate and how they fit into the lore, I'm like, where do you... It's like a square piece trying to fit into a round hole, you know? It's one of those things where it's like, you don't fit. And it's not even because of the gun, it's because of the lack of motivation. And I think that hurts the Pirate in the long run. I don't hate Pirate. I think Pirate brought something very unique to the game. And again, I think that the inspiration, Changsha, was a genuine stroke of genius. I think it fits very well. But at the same time, what's the goal? What are they here to do? Are they here to help Astria win? If so, how come they haven't won yet? The Pirates have sea superiority that gives them a huge advantage. If they're not here to help Astria, then are they here to serve their own goals? Or what are their goals? To steal all the money in Heathmore? Okay, but could you say that? And how are you going to profiteer off of a warring nation? Everyone's poor right now. Everyone's suffering. I don't know how you're going to do this. And if the idea was, well, you don't know, Horkos got hold of all that gold from the Ocelots. Okay, then why didn't the pirates raid the Ocelots? In fact, the lore says that the pirates had dealings with the Ocelots before Vela even showed up. So why didn't the pirates just milk the Ocelots for all they were worth and not even bother with Heathmore? There's a lot of questions here that I have to ask about the pirate. They're the one character in the lore that I'm kind of like, what are you doing here? So I guess that's my stance on that. But overall, I don't hate them. I think that they're fine. I just want to know why they belong. I want to know what they're doing here. And some may say, oh, I'll tell you what they're doing here, Raven. They're here to annoy the fan base. They're here to annoy the community. And you know what? I hear you. I understand you. But I don't agree with you. So that's pretty much my stance on Pirate. That's why I feel like I like Pirate, but she could be better in my opinion. But that's my stance. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments section. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Take care.